Hello guys, it's Anshuman Rao, and welcome back to another brand new video. And this video is going to be a little bit of longer video because this is a very important trade breakdown video, and the trades I took yesterday. So now today, the current time is around 1:12 a.m. and I took these trades yesterday, which is at London session of 7th April. And if I tell you the time, then it was something around. I started my trading session around 12:30 p.m. Around 12:30 p.m. IST, Indian Standard Time, at which London session starts basically. And this video is going to be a little bit longer video because I am going to explain you by you know reading my journal alongside, and I will be explaining you each and every trade that I took, and with complete you know emotional emotional and psychological aspect. I'm also going to explain you that also, because all the things I have wrote in journal, and I'm going to show you that how I write journal basically. In a previous video in my channel, you can check it out, I explained you how I make my journal, and today I'm going to read that type of journal which I made for yesterday's trading session. And alongside, I will be reading and explaining that journal, and also I will be analyzing my trades which I took in the yesterday's trading session. So this video is going to be a very interesting video, so stay tuned. And I bet that you are going to learn so much things in this video. And if you are a beginner trader, I don't know if you are a beginner trader, or if you are a intermediate trader, or you are a pro trader who trades in the markets and have n number of years of experience. I don't care, but if you watch this video, if you watch this video, I bet that you are going to get some crazy amount of value. So without wasting any time, let's jump into the video. And you know, in the yesterday's trading session, the main thing, the only pair I traded was GBP USD, and there was a lot of volume during the London session. And in GBP USD, especially if I jump into the trading view chart, as you can see, this is a GBP USD chart, and if I switch on my session marker, so as you can see, this blue color box is the London session, and if you can see that the blue color box starts around here, and as soon as the London session starts, we get to see a bearish full volume candle starting up with with the London open, with the London session. And as you can see in GBP USD, we almost had, the market almost gave us around, if we calculate, around 52 pips, not 52, close to 53 pips, 53.4 pip move, 53.4 pip up and down move in London session itself. Not only just upward, but also a downward movement also in the same session itself. And also, as you can see now, also the volumes are crazy. As you can see, this is midnight. It's 1:16 a.m. and still then we are in the middle of New York session, and midnight of IST, but still then the volumes are crazy high due to war crisis. And basically, let's keep that aside. We will be just analyzing our London session trades. So as you can see, there was, if we jump into the 7th of April and apply settings, there was no news on Tuesday, as you can see. So it was basically a no news day, and during no news days, if you get an abnormal move like this stuff, as you can see, let me, yeah, and in no news days, if you get movements like this, as you can see this movement over here, let me mark, if you get this kinds of movement, then it's a very blessing day for any trader. If you take these trades, it will be a, you know no, it will not be a news trade because there are no news events today, and with no news events we get this much big of a movement, then it's a very very strong blessing for a trade. I also took this, as you can see, I executed my orders in MetaTrader. So there is a huge volume now, but I will not place any trades now. My mind is telling to place trades, but I'm controlling myself and I'm not placing my trades because still then there is a high volume and price is driving upwards and upwards. It's midnight, but still then the price is driving upward, but just it's just a distraction for now. So let's jump into the trades. So this is these are the trades. As you can see, the small arrows, these red arrows are of sell side trades, and if you are a trader and if you use MetaTrader, then you know what I'm talking about. So let's jump into the very first trade, and let's show you the journal, and reading my journal alongside I will be explaining you my trades, and this is a journal over here. As you can see, this is the journal of 7th April 2026, which was yesterday. And the first point itself was took a trade in GBP USD. Okay, the first trade. Let me show you the first trade over here. So the first trade was over here. Uh, as you can see, I want you to focus on my cursor, the black color cursor. As you can see, yes. So this was the first trade over here, as you can see, which was of 8 lots. And as soon as the price drive in the buy, this was a buy side trade, and as soon as the price moved in favor of me as upwards, I again added 8 lots more to this trade. So in total, I had 16 lots in this trade, and these two arrows were of same trade, and each arrow was of 8 lots. These two trades were different trades, but according to me, it was the same trade of same which were you know executed on the same purpose. But as you can see, booked as a second point, booked a loss of $500. That is 2% of my total account, which I trade on a $25,000 $25,000 account. But still, then what happened in this trade was I basically first I executed my first trade over here, then I added more 8 lots around here. But still, then the price didn't move in favor of me. Instead, it turned against me, and yeah, it came to my entry point of the first trade, and when I started moving into drawdown, I immediately closed my positions over here. As you can see, the two red arrows. This is the positions which I closed of this two blue arrows. So I closed all of my positions over here. As you can see, the complete 16 lots I closed over here, and after closing the trades, the price even moved more against me, which you know which turned out to be a good decision that I closed my positions over here. Otherwise, the drawdown would be very much more. And I saw a breakout and placed an impulse buy side trade. So this was the trade over here. So why I took this trade, the reason behind my first trade was, as you can see, there was a resistance over here. And if you see on this side, on which the candle on which I placed the trade, or the candle in which I placed my first trade, this was a breakout candle, and also it started breaking this resistance over here with volume. And when it started breaking this previous resistance over here, I placed an impulse buy side trade. And also, not just it broke the previous resistance, but also it gave a closing above this resistance. So it was, a very much no brainer decision for me. And also, it was a London session opening. So, why not to enter into a trade? So, and it was, in my strategy, all my check boxes were tick, and yeah, I placed my buy side trade. So this was the reason I took my first trade, but still then it turned out to be a loser, and you know, I I just lost a desired amount which I was willing to lose, and before my complete hand got infected, I just cut my fingers, and I saved my hand from getting completely infected by closing my positions over here. But as you can see, this is over, and this was a line. So these 3 points were of my first trade. Let's jump into the second trade. So what was my second trade? Took a sell side trade in GBP USD, the opposite side trade of the previous trade. So the opposite side, the previous trade, the first trade was of buy side, but as soon as the price started moving against me with full volume, I had this conviction developed in my mind that it is going to it is going to go more against me, but still then I have closed my positions, so there is no against or favor, but still then it is going to go down more, because it was the sell side momentum was very much. So I built up that conviction, and I executed a trade of sell side over here. As you can see, there is red candles over there are red arrows over here, which defines I opened my positions of sell side over here, around here, and also I played with 8 lots itself. I executed with 8 lots of sell side position, and as you can see, I lost my previous trade in the same instrument. Uh, that's the thing, in the same I'm just trading in the same instrument, which is GBP USD. So this was the first page of my journal. Let's jump into the second page of my journal, which is the third point of the second trade. Let me So this is the third point of the second trade, and what it states is, and what I wrote here is, as soon as the price started moving against me, I closed my first trade and booked my loss. Basically, it is the definition of why I closed my first trade. And the fourth point is, I saw volume and price catching momentum on the sell side direction, which I explained you just now. After noticing the momentum, I placed the second trade on the same instrument itself, but but in the opposite direction of the first trade. So basically, I explained you now what it means. So what it tells is, after noticing the momentum, I placed the second trade on the same instrument itself, but in the opposite direction of the first trade, which is the sell side. You know, and also I have written here, as you can see, the first trade was buy side, and the second trade was sell side. So there is not much about this page. Basically, I am just explaining more on I was just explaining more of the first and second trade combined. Let me just get this big for you. So this is the third page of my journal, and what it states is, first point is, I am still holding my second trade, still holding. I just I am writing my journals while I'm trading. So basically, this is the way I wrote it. You can understand by that, by seeing the grammar itself. So while trading the session, alongside I'm writing my journal. So first point was, I'm still holding my second trade. Yeah. The second point is, my emotions are also fluctuating alongside my fluctuating floating PNL. So seeing the floating PNL, my emotions are also fluctuating. It's a complete normal thing. It's a complete normal human tendency. So yeah, every trader goes through it. Third point is, price come if price comes back to my entry point and I closed 50%, that is 8 lots closed. So when I when I just um, executed the sell side trade, the price started moving downwards, but still then, it rejected back. And I want you to go focus on my cursor so that you can, understand even more clearly. So when I executed my sell side trade with a 16 lots, 8 lots, and 8 lots, the price started moving downwards, which is in favor of me. But still then, it rejected back and came. It rejected back and came back into my entry point. So at that moment, what I did was I closed half of my position, which is 50%, which is one of the, you know, I executed with I executed 16 lots, but I didn't execute 16 lots with, complete in one trade. I executed with 8 lots in one trade and 8 lots in another trade. And as you can see, there are two red arrows over here, which defines 8 lots and 8 lots in sell side direction. So I closed one of my 8 lot trade, which is 50% of the total trade size. And yeah, when it came to my um, entry point, when the price rejected back and came to my entry point, but still then I kept my half of the position running still. And yeah, the third point is all about that. And let's jump into the fourth point. I added 8 lots again. So when price started rejecting and came back to my entry point, I closed half of my positions, but still then it went a little bit, against me. Even though my half of my positions were open, but still then it came back to my entry point again, and again it started going into my favor. So at that time, I, again entered another, again added another 8 lots. So yeah, the fifth point, as you can see, I closed all of my positions of the second trade and booked a little more than $1,000. If you see my trading statement in the account itself, the first trade, this is a statement of the first trade, which was, in the first trade, I lost around close to, I would say, uh, close to, $500, which is 1% of the account, and I mentioned it in my journal itself. But when I closed half of my positions here, as you can see in in the third point, as you can see, even though I lost in my first trade itself, in the second trade, before turning into profitable, before turning profitable, I closed 50%, which collectively, I lost around $900. So I was down $900 in my first day of the account. But still then, it didn't matter in the end. But what happened was, I generated little more than over $1,000. As you can see, this to five. As you can see, $568 plus $472, collectively a little more than $1,000. So this was the statement. This was the PNL of the second trade, and it was enough to cover up all of my previous losses of my first trade, and get back my account into little positive. So I was, after my second trade, I was positive, $138, something like that. I remember it. If I remember it very clearly. So this was all about the second trade, and let's jump into the another page. As you can see in the another page, I explained it that how what I lost and what I you know profited in which trade. So in the first trade, as you can see, I lost around $870. In the second trade, I generated around $1,000. So $130 positive. Now the best part is these two trades over here. So let me, the last two trades, last two scalping trades were the very much interesting ones. And these trades lasted only seconds. Not only, this trades didn't even last 15 seconds. You know, I just entered and exited within 10 seconds of the trade. And within 10 to 15 seconds, I made $812. And how, that's the question. How? I will be going to explain it to you now. So let me close this trading statement over here so that I can explain it to you very clear. As you can see, I closed my positions over here of my second trade after again adding the 8 lots. The price started favoring my direction, and I closed my complete 16 lot positions over here. As you can see, there are two blue arrows which symbolize, you know closing of positions, and there is also a line, as you can see. So this was the trade over here till here to here, and I closed all of my positions of the second trade over here. So after closing my positions, I waited for this candle to close, of this 30-minute candle to close, and on the second candle, as you can see, the second candle has a very much volume, and if you see the tick volume over here, then you will be noticing that there is a huge volume kicking in, and it's also a London session. It's around London Open, and you know when the price started, you know you know catching that momentum on the buy side, and at that time what I did was I took this quick scalp trades. As you can see, this was of 8 lots, and I entered into this trade around 8 lots, and I closed around here on this red arrow, as you can see. And also, it's, without, the volume was so high that the candle reached around here. This was the maximum point the candle reached around here, and this is where I took my second trade over here. As you can see, the blue arrow. Also I took here also I took my second trade over here and closed around here. So these two scalping trades where these two scalping trades is where I made my, money for today. And I started with $25,000, but now I'm currently sitting at, let me show you the balance over here. And I'm trading in a prop firm account, and you know very clearly that in which prop firm I'm trading now. And if you don't know, then let me tell you that I'm trading in Funded Next. So I started with $25,000, and in the first half of my trading session, I lost $900, but still then, within ending of my trading session, I was plus $912, as you can see here. So yeah, this was all for the today, and within one day, I generated around 4% in my total account in just one day. So this was all for the video today, and let me read the journal for you. Took two quick scalp trades because the volume kicked in with great intensity and made around $812 in two trades combined. The only reason I took these two trades because I saw price rising rapidly with great volume, and I entered and exited quickly within seconds. Done for the day. So this was all for the day, and this was all for the journal itself. So yeah, video. I think the video became quite long, but still then I explained you the complete trading session for today and how I made my, $912, basically four close to 4% in my trading account within a single day. So yeah, I hope you liked it and hope you enjoyed it and hope you have learned something from this video. And this is how I make my journal, and this is how I maintain it. So yeah, Anshuman Rao signing off. Peace out.